it's Rob here and welcome to the next of my build videos on the Tamiya Lunch Box Mini on the SW01 chassis. Today we're going to start on parts bag B, which I believe is step 15. So let's get straight into it. Right, step 15 is, as it says, attaching the bumper, but it's also attaching the lower front A-arms or wishbones. So I think as far as the order, I don't think it matters, so I'm going to put the bumper on first because of getting these in to position like so, and then it's a case of using one of the 8mm self-tapping screws in the centre hole, and then two of these machine screws 25mm on either side, and I think they're that long because they close the bottom of the diff housings as well. And that one, that side, I'll finish tightening that up in a bit so I can show you. Oh, still need it upside down. Right, so once you've done that, we need to attach the dog bone to the diff out, which is easier said than done. Oh, there we go. And then we simply fold that over and click it in place. Then we use this part here, which is C2, which is a little clip, and you should be able to see in the diagram, you might not be able to see in mine, that there is a way round for this. There's an indentation or a raised lip around the outside, and that has to be pointing upwards as you're looking at it now, and it just simply clips over to supposedly hold the ball joint in place. I'm not sure of how good a job it'll do, but that's the front suspension done, and as you can see, it articulates as well as springy up and downy. So we can move on to 16. Step 16 is a fun bit. It's the wheelie bar, and we're going to need plastic bits B9, B10 and B16, and a couple of the 3mm by 8mm screws, and whoops, we should simply just be able to pop that on like that and get this orientation, put that on like so, and stick the two screws in. Again, it's fairly soft plastic, so don't tighten them too tight, and there we have one wheelie bar ready for the next step, which will be step 17. Okay, so step 17 is really the same as doing the front end, with your one short screw, two long screws, your C2s, your C12 and 13, which I thought they were both the same, but they are marked up as different, and B2 and the wheelie bar from previous step, and again it's the same process to connect the lower upright, the lower wishbones on. So I think I'll just get on and start. Be back for the next bit. And again, same for this side, or for this, for the rear. Get your dog bone in the diff out, fold the arm over and click it in place, and get your retaining clip and pop that over, and there we go. And with that done, we should be able to move on to step 18. Step 18 is the steering linkage, and you need quite a few plastic parts: B12, B11, B14, B15 and 4 of these C5s. And it tells you to note direction, and it shows one side has a little lip. I can just about see, in fact I can see better on my telly than I can in real life, that there's a tiny little lip on one side. So that's got to be the bit that you use on the insides. Oh yeah, it's just slightly proud. And I've lost one of my screws. And there are 2 different vertical arms, if you like, that you need to orientate in the right direction. So I'm going to go with the B15 first and the top arm, and it should just screw in something like so, he says, if you can get it started. Yeah. I think something like that. And then the bottom, do something like that. Oops, like so. Once you've done the other side, 14, it then tells you to move on and put BB3, which is a 12mm screw, with a BB9, which is a brass spacer, into the top hole there. And then we've got 2 ball joints that go in these bottom bits. Here and here, like so. So I think I'll carry on, finish this, and because I'm screwing into metal, I'll get me thread lock out, and we'll thread lock those ball joints on. So I'll be back in the wink of a dog's tail. Step 19 is attaching the steering linkage to the chassis, and we're going to need plastic parts B1, and there's a couple of notes here. We've got one here that says do not over tighten. These 2 BB2 15mm screws, There's also one here, note direction of B1, and then down here there's a note about if your steering servo doesn't have 12 to 14 mil gap, you need to use BB7, BB6 onto part B1 rather than the stock BA9. As you can see, I've put the stock BA9 on for now because I don't actually have my servo here. It's still coming to me in the post, so I'll get on and basically to attach this, oops, we need the screws, we need the body or chassis, and this brass spacer that we put in on a previous step needs to go through there and slide down, and then your B2, B1, whatever it's called, yeah, your B1 goes through here, and you need to slot it in like so, and then as in the diagram, note the orientation when that's about like so. And then we can pop one of these screws in, and on the other side we need part B13, which is a spacer, and then you just need to somehow line it up and screw it in. And again, as the note says, don't over tighten, and there we have some steering. Cool. Step 20 is making up the tie rods, and I've already done 3 here, and they do need to be slightly different. The ones at the front, you need 90-degree offset of the ball joints, whereas the rears are basically in line. So I'll just show you what we need to do. First off, we've got 12mm grub screw, and we need to screw that into the longer ball adjuster until there's about 5mm sticking out, something round there. And this is 1:1, so there we go, just about right. Maybe pull it out just a tad. And then you need to get the shorter ball joint and screw that on, and it shows you there that you can use your tool to give you more leverage, but it's not that hard if I'm perfectly honest. And then you need a mil gap. I think that's a bit too short, but again, this diagram on the right is 1:1, so yeah, that's about right. If we come to step 21, attaching them, we can take the ball joints and there we go, and then on this one, oops, and then we should hopefully be able to do this other side. Right, turn it over to do the rear ones. And again we've got the shorter ball joint here. Yeah, and that I think completes part bag B and this episode of my build guide. I hope you've enjoyed watching, and I really hope you'll come back and watch the next one with me. Thanks for watching. Bye!